like mid-March, whatever. But like literally the day we came, like Casper already had like
two employees waiting for us.
ready.
He already hired like 2 people that day, and they were at our apartment that we were going to use as our office until we got an actual office.
Welcome back to Young Smart Money with me, your host, Apple Kreider. Today we're sitting down with two guys who have been on the podcast before. Y'all know that I don't do many repeat guests, but these guys are absolutely crushing it at such a young age. I just had to have them back on. So Quenten and Jovan, if those names sound familiar to you, these two guys started Choose Pristine and launched the course 30-Day SMMA. Okay, so when I was at Funnel Hacking Live, the ClickFunnels event, probably close to 4 or 5 months ago now, over in Nashville, Tennessee, I got to sit down with these guys and interview them in person to hear their story, because at that point, they had made roughly $800,000 in the first 3 months of 2019, okay? They were absolutely crushing it with this course that they had just started selling with a webinar. So in that past episode, we dove kind of deep into the idea of social media marketing and starting an agency, because that's something that they're very passionate about. And then we talked a little bit about launching a course and what those early stages were looking like for them. At this point in time, they are right around that $2 million in revenue mark for their course, and they are scaling very rapidly, okay? We're going to be talking about how they actually have 2 offices now, like real offices with over 20 full-time employees, which absolutely blows my mind. These guys, I didn't even mention, they're 19 and 21 years old. So they are definitely not the demographic you would expect to be employing over 20 people full-time and have 2 offices literally across the world, which is, it just blows my mind. So I want to have these guys back on the show to really update you guys on how they have scaled from, again, 800,000 to now this 2 million mark, but really how to just like get started with info products, okay? Because they are obviously having a lot of success here in the information products, being things that when you sell information. So having a course, having an ebook, having some kind of digital thing that you can sell multiple times to multiple people and scale from there. So we're going to be talking about info products and how you can start to incorporate info products into your business. I'm super stoked for this. These guys dropped some amazing wisdom throughout the interview. I always enjoy sitting down and chatting with them. So without further ado, let's welcome Quenten and Jovan to Young Smart Money. All right, Quenten and Jovan, welcome back to Young Smart Money. How are y'all doing today?
Doing good. We are doing well.
Happy to be here, man. It's good to see you again.
Good for a round two. Round 2.
I'm excited. There aren't many guests that I've had back on the show for round 2, so y'all should feel honored. It's not something that I get on lightly, so I'm super stoked to dive into this. But where we left you guys off with last time, basically fill our listeners in right now with like a quick snapshot of where y'all are at in time right now.
So we currently have 2 offices, one in Serbia, one in Pakistan. We're just about to hit the $2 million mark with the course. And yeah.
And we got like 20 employees.
20 employees now, yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. So last time we had y'all on the show, we talked about how y'all were able to start this social media marketing agency and then grow a course into a place where y'all had almost reached that $1 million mark. That was a few months ago at the ClickFunnels event, and clearly y'all have been just scaling since then. So for our listeners that didn't catch that episode, 1, go back and listen to that. But 2, where did you guys get started? Like, where did the 2 of you who are now, like 19, 21, 22 years old, where did y'all get started with the whole world of online business?
All right. So basically, it was just getting into the online world. It was kind of a necessity at the time because I was dead broke, living in my mom's basement, and I didn't want to work a regular job. So I said, you know what? I'm a Google how to make money online, and kind of found my way into a few things. And then the actual business route I went down was social media marketing to begin with. But it was more of just a necessity. I need to make money, so I'm going to learn how to make money online.
100%. Jovan, what about you?
Yeah, no, that's about it. I have a similar story. I just had to make some money, dude. I got a parking ticket, got my car towed. Once I paid that and I paid the parking fine, I had like $5 left. Drove home crying like a little bitch. And I decided that night I'm going to start making money for the rest of my life. And that was it. That was 3.5 years ago.
And here we are.
I love it, man, hitting those turning points. So what I want to dive into in this episode is the online course side of things, because clearly you guys have been scaling that massively since the last time we talked. And a lot of young listeners are hitting me up, asking me about the info product space and how they can start to see some success there. So first of all, give us an idea of when you started your course and how that looked in sort of like the launch phase.
Yeah, so we built our course back in September. That was the first course we ever made. That was the first version of the course as well. We launched the webinar in January, beginning of January. once we launched the webinar, that's what really picked up the course sales. And then once that was happening, we kind of saw that, we have a sick funnel here, but the product itself, there's something wrong with it because there was a lot of people complaining about it. So what we then went ahead and did was, so around April, we went ahead and restructured the course. We re-recorded the entire course, actually, like a brand new, literally brand new course, everything different. And then yeah, that's it.
And since having that, we made it just such a better course that now we're still at scale. And then now we're getting just happier people who want to buy more from us. And that was the key point. We first didn't worry about having a perfect course, of course, right? You just want to launch it.
Yeah.
And once we got it going, it was good. We were getting successful students. Then we took a step back, made our product better. And then now it's making our entire business just better overall.
I love that so much because, man, yeah, you got to make sure that your customers are satisfied, coming back for more, and spreading those success stories. Because if you don't have success stories, you're not going to run a successful info product.
Exactly.
So when you were getting that, you said you had a little bit of negative feedback at first with the course itself, maybe not negative feedback, but like room for improvement. When did you realize that like that required you to take some action? Like were you just hearing this time and time again, or what did that look like?
It was more so our customer support department. It was like a lot of unnecessary work. Like we were just putting in.
Here's the thing. It was a great course for someone that was actively looking for a course for social media marketing. Like if someone was actively searching for a social media marketing like agency course, then and that's what our original traffic was, our Instagram and YouTube. Those people love the course, man. Like they all said like, yo, this is the coolest shit I've ever been to. There's so much actual value in this that like this, you guys are fucking shit. And then what happened was once we started scaling up, we started getting different types of people into the course. And that is when the problem came. So this is like too much information. It was mainly beginners. And it was mainly like, it's too much information. It's overwhelming because they're learning this literally for the first time versus someone who was actively searching for it. And that's what that caused the whole thing. And that's kind of how we figured out that people were telling us basically, yo, this is too much.
Super interesting. And yeah, y'all were able to listen to that feedback. How long did it take you to like redo the entire thing?
So because we had it was a small team at the time. Back there was when we first came to Serbia, we only had, I think like 3 employees? Three employees. So basically we had, took us about 5 days to record. And in terms of the actual production down to like, it was over 100 plus videos. I think that was executed like within a week as well. Yeah. So a total of 2 weeks. And then it was better than what we did the first time because it was like 15-hour days of us editing, us exporting, us recording. This time we were in a position to have a team, so we only had to record, which made the whole process just more enjoyable.
Wow. Like how, obviously you had that system there and you had some people in place, but like getting over 100 videos recorded in like a 1 to 2 week span seems kind of crazy. So like, do you have any advice or like strategies? Like how were you doing that?
We got some good systems, bro. Yeah.
Planning and systems.
Yeah. One of it was definitely planning for this one. Basically what really helped, man, is we literally just had, and this was like probably the biggest thing that helped make it so fluid. First of all, we had a shooter and an editor. So that whole part was already outsourced. But more importantly, we had literally one Google document. It was about 9 pages long.
Or like 17 pages long.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was way long.
Oh, okay. Apparently 17 pages long. Oh yeah, because we printed it. Yeah. 17 pages long. And we literally just put like day 1, we had like what the lesson's going to be, what the action's going to be. And then day 2, here are the 3 lessons, here are like the 3 action steps. And that is basically like how the entire course is built. And it was all laid out for us, pre-planned, and we just executed on it.
Huh. So with like 3 lessons and like 3 action steps, was each lesson had an action step or were those different pieces?
Yeah. So the way we reorganized it was each day. Sometimes it's like 5 lessons. Sometimes it's only 2 lessons, but every lesson is followed by a separate video with a step-by-step instructions on exactly what to do. So an action step based on what you, literally every single video is followed by an action step.
Huh. I love it. So it's like, here's the information and then here's how to apply it.
Yeah.
So now like they can't get mad at us saying like you gave us too much information because we said, but each piece of information we told you
here's how to use it. Yeah.
Here's how you use it and how you use it effectively.
That's huge. So were y'all looking at other courses for inspiration or like how did you get that idea and like the other ideas for how to like structure your course and make it most effective?
We just like our customers.
It was the feedback.
It was just the feedback. They didn't tell us like create us action steps, but they were saying like, oh,
we saw that's what they needed.
We found the problem and then this was the solution we created.
Absolutely. So now I want to dive a little bit more into like the marketing side of things of the course because there's a lot of people that message me and they're like, I started this info product, I'm selling this ebook, this course, whatever, and I don't know how to get it out in front of people. And I think you guys are a great example of that because when you started off, you guys didn't have a very big like social following, correct?
We still don't. 10,000. Yeah, we still don't. I don't even have 10K followers on Instagram. I can't swipe up. I can't swipe up.
Yeah, so talk to the young listener, because that's an excuse that I hear time and time again. They're like, man, I want to sell this thing. I have this product. I can't sell it because I don't have a following. So what do you guys say to that objection?
Yeah, it's you're allowing yourselves to say, I can't do this when that's not facts whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So we made with under like 10,000 followers, we made 18 grand in 1 month just through our Instagram alone. Mm-hmm. So for those that say you can't do it, it's a lie. Cause I had like 4,000 followers. Jovan had like 11K, and like we had like 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we made 18 grand.
Yeah.
How? Like what were you doing that other people aren't doing?
Yeah. So for example, if someone right now wants to sell a course, for example, but they don't have either a following or B, like they don't know how to do ads, dude, you literally just start with organic, man. I would literally just pick one, maybe two platforms. Pick YouTube, definitely pick YouTube, and pick Instagram or Twitter, right? Pick one of those two. You start posting organic there. It'll probably take like 2 to 3 months for like some traction to start picking up. When that does happen though, you'll see you're getting like targeted DMs, like people are DMing you, like actual followers that are like interested in what you're saying and like what you're doing, right? At that point, you can start putting together an info course, okay? Like I would pre-sell it, but at that point you can start like doing stuff, right? And then once you've built a course, and once you'll get a couple sales here and there through your organic stuff that you've built in the past 3 months, then what you do is you use those profits. And then you start playing around. Maybe now you want to start putting those profits back into your organic or into paid traffic if you want to scale it that way. So now you have at least generated profit from what you want to scale further.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
So as far
as it's possible, like with that, like you might not be making like 10 grand right away, but you might get your first 2 or 3 sales, and now look, you made just over $1,000. Mm-hmm. And then when you have $1,000, you can actually go and use that.
100%. And I think a lot of people just aren't focused as much as they should be on actually engaging with people and really making those connections early on. They just don't see the numbers there, and they don't associate, like, even if you have like 2,000 followers, that's like 2,000, like most of them are going to be ideally real people that are following you and that are interested in you. So I think looking, like seeing it not as a group, but like a group of individuals that are interested in what you're talking about is big.
Exactly. And then you said it perfectly there. It was like a small audience, but we were engaged with them, and like they liked us, and we spent the time with them. And then that's why we were able to say, hey, like, do you want to buy our course? And people were saying, yes, like take my credit card. Like, I really, really want to buy this, even though they did not know us, but we just built that relationship through like Instagram stories, you know?
Absolutely.
And in our case, that's what.
So when it comes to paid traffic, what platforms do you guys focus on most right now?
So we mainly focus on Instagram, Facebook, and then Google and YouTube.
Okay. What can you give us some kind of idea of like how much money y'all are pumping into these right now?
How much we're spending on ads, or?
Yeah.
So I think our monthly ad spend averages between 200 to like 300,000 basically.
Yeah. It depends on, like, some days we're spending over 10,000, but other days we're like a little lower and we're spending like $4,000 to like $8,000. Mm-hmm. So we're at least 200,000 a month.
A quarter mil a month. Yeah.
Crazy numbers. So talk to the young listener who's just getting started with paid traffic and thinks that sounds absolutely ridiculous. How did you get started? Like, when did you decide that it was time to move from organic to start using some paid traffic?
Mm-hmm. So I mean, with that, we decided, it was when we decided like, so like, they got a course here, like we're selling it one way, which is through organic, right? But the thing with organic, it takes time, right? It's a long play thing. So we decided, okay, we and that's what I was saying. We've already generated a profit with the course. At this point, we had already pulled like, I think probably over around 40,000 with the course.
Yeah. Okay.
But keep in mind, like throughout those months that we pulled that 40,000, like most of it was spent. Like we spent it on like our living expenses and shit like that. But regardless, that was when we decided, okay, we got this. People are selling it through organic, but look at all these people that are selling it through like these ads, right? You look at Sam Ovens, Kevin David. We saw there's people selling courses through ads, and so that's when we said, okay, let's hack their funnels basically. Let's see what they're up to, and let's run some paid traffic and let's make some fucking money. because when you see people like that, we're paid $40,000 in like 2 months, and they're doing $40,000 to like $80,000 a day.
Yeah.
And then back then, and in our mindset, the way we're thinking, we're like, that's not even possible. But like, maybe we can start making like $1,000 every single day. And then once we reach there, maybe we'll start making like $1,000 every hour. Now we're making like $10, $20, $30, $40,000 a day, which we've done.
Crazy stuff. So like when you were getting started, were you focused on one platform, or were you kind of across all these different 4 platforms?
In terms of like,
In terms of ads.
like the ads, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we dabbled amongst everything, but we primarily focused just on one platform, so that way we can just like get good at it. And once we get good at that, start focusing on scaling up and starting a separate vertical, completely different. Because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. We want to have like a good built basket, and then let's build a second one, a third, fourth, fifth, and then to scale that way.
For sure. So was your first vertical Facebook, YouTube?
So our first one that we primarily focused on was Facebook.
Okay. So
And IG too. Like
Yeah.
with we did like a lot of swipe ups and stuff like that. Like that's cheap. Like those are cheap traffic. Yeah.
And especially because we had a good social profile at the time, the Instagram, like we were focused on bringing in followers and just people to our page, because back then we were focusing heavily on like selling through our social, like directly through our Instagram, unlike we are right now.
Huh. So when you were doing that, I mean, do you have any advice for the young listener who's just starting off in paid traffic, who wants to start making some money with Facebook ads? Say they have a product that they're trying to sell and they want to start incorporating paid traffic, sort of put that gasoline on the fire. Do you have any advice for getting started?
Yeah, I'd say good luck.
Good luck and test. Just be willing to spend money.
You know?
And like, yeah, this is very good, because
Good
like
luck,
we've had
man.
some stuff where we got like a bit of luck, but also with skill. But then there's been times, even though like we know what we're doing,
Paid traffic is just
Goes
always paid
down.
traffic, man. It's like you never know what you can expect, and if you want to become good at it, you're gonna have to spend a lot of money at it. That's just the reality of it. So if someone wants to dabble into it,
spend
definitely
money.
do it, but just realize that you're not going to become great at it until you spend a lot of money, whether that's your money or someone else's money.
That's the truth, man. And like starting like an SMMA can be a great way to get that experience of like how to run paid traffic when it's not your own money on the line. Because a lot of young listeners don't have that kind of money to just pump into this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why social media marketing is such a great business, because just use this as like your starting base to like make some money.
And we always say
collect
this,
cash.
too.
We always say this, like, don't do SMA forever. Like, don't be that guy who's stuck making like $10,000 a month. Like some people will, but like just use this to generate cash, right? Generate that cash, learn these skills, learn how to sell, learn how to communicate with people, learn how to run traffic, and then branch that off into your next avenue that you're going down, whether it's e-commerce, info products, you do a whole different, like whatever happens to be affiliate marketing, just like, this is just such a great starting point doing SMA. No, like such a low barrier to entry, no previous experience, no money required. You just need to start. You just need to convince someone to pay you and then run their Facebook ads.
Straight up. So I want to talk with you guys about building your team, because at this point you said you have what, like 20 employees right now?
20, like if we were to do math, it's probably like 22 or 21 full-time. Like, yeah.
Wow. So that's significant.
Yeah.
You guys have 2 offices now as well. So when did that start? Like when did you bring on your first person?
So the scale, it's like with a lot of things,
In
it's
March.
very, very slow. And then it just like started picking up like that. So we hired our first one. When did we come to Serbia, Cashman? Beginning of March?
Yeah, March.
Beginning of
Mid-March,
March, like
mid-March, yeah.
no, like mid
Or beginning.
but
I
yeah,
don't know.
we came like mid-March, whatever. But like literally the day we came, like Cashman already had like
2 employees
two
waiting
employees
for us.
ready.
He already hired like 2 people that day, and they were at our apartment that we were going to use as our office until we got an actual office.
We thought we could work out of like our home. Yeah. And then it started like that, 2 people. Then we hired like another one, and then basically at the beginning we were going really, really slow with our hiring. And then what really, really changed is we just realized like, let's just hire more people and get people to do everything that we want to do.
Like we had hired like 3-4 people at the point, but we were like stuck with these 3-4 people for like a couple weeks. And then we just, I don't know what happened, but we just realized, like, let's just hire more people so we don't have to do anything. Yeah. And then that's what we started doing.
Yeah. Now because we're at the point where like we are comfortable outsourcing everything. Like we even have our personal lives like outsourced. Like, we have a person who deals with like our own like like everything, like anything, like myself, Jovan, or Marco related, like someone operates our, like we.
Like if there's no soap in the thing, bro, in the bottle squeezer, someone replaces it for us. Like if we run out of paper towels, someone does that too. Like everything in our personal life, like our cleaning, laundry, food delivery, like everything has been outsourced. And then even with the business, like I can literally spend a week and I don't have to show up in the office. I can just Slack people from my laptop. I just use Slack, bro. It's like this.
That's Slack. Yeah. Like you even saw, like Nevina called you saying we were running late because she knew we were running late. So she's like, I'm just gonna tell Apple like they're gonna be 10 minutes late, and then here we go.
So what do you guys do? Like, what does a typical day look like for Jovan? Like,
we operate. We call ourselves like official operators, bro. That's our role in the company.
So we do our day-to-day operations because there's just like right now, like we're basically we operate our people, and what that means is we are looking to always find better people and then make our current people more efficient and make sure they just love what they're doing. That's a big focus on what we're doing, and we consistently do that. That's our day-to-day, finding the problem with our people. And the second thing is, okay, how can we just grow our company? So it's taking that like CEO approach, stepping back and figure out what's the next product, what's the next media we're going to try doing, or what's the next like thing within our business, what's our new department, because we don't just hire people now, like we hire departments. Like what's the next department? Is it going to be business intelligence?
It's going to be data.
Is it going to be larger customer support / student success? Like that's how we're thinking, like growing our company, because we're at the point now, just about at the $2 million in revenue. We're now thinking the point like, hey, we need to get to 30 million. What's the fastest and most efficient way to get that done?
Absolutely crazy. So when you were hiring your first person, like what were those first two people doing that you had waiting for you? Were they like content people? Were they support people?
Number one was assistant, which was Z at the time.
Oh yeah. So assistant, because he was doing even our daily stuff. Assistant / project manager like role.
Yeah.
Video editor / shooter. Third was customer support, and then fourth was like an actual like personal assistant.
Yeah.
Like he's our get shit done, or like shout out at Hemovich.
Like you need a visa, bro. Like you tell him, Marco, we need a visa. He gets you a visa.
Yeah.
I love it. So like, how did you decide like what to bring on first, and how did you know who to bring on for that position?
We didn't know. That was the big thing. It was like we didn't know the answer, but we looked at our current situation and figured out, okay, this is what we're going to need.
We didn't know what we needed first, but we knew what we needed. So we knew we needed this, and this. Like we had these like 7 things in our head, and then we just ended up finding those 3 first, for example.
Yeah.
So what did you look for when you were hiring a person? Because like it sounded like these people you hired like without even meeting them in person first, right?
Yeah, so the first couple you go ahead.
Yeah, so our first couple, Marco did the full hiring. This was just through Upwork. Both of our first 2 people were through Upwork. Or 3 people were through Upwork. So that was just kind of like post like a job posting. Yeah. I'm looking for this, and like
it was basic. It was very like basic way of hiring, because we didn't know what we were doing, and we just like wanted the first person we could get, because we were desperate at the time for like a employee.
Or just a human person.
Like we needed help. Yeah, someone needs to do this work, and it can't be us.
Yeah, which ended up making like the whole hiring process actually like inefficient in a way, because we were just hiring like a person, right? But the way we redesigned our hiring system, Jovan and I did that, it was a month ago now.
We built this, while we were in Amsterdam.
Yeah, while we were in Amsterdam, it took us like 3-4 days.
Like 4 full days.
And we fully automated our entire hiring process down to the point. Yeah, I like that look on your face. Down to the point where we have everyone, like we have a whole bunch of applications come in, and then Jovan and I only need to step in at the final stage. But at the final stage, it's just a matter of going over the final details. Like we already know we want to hire them. It's just how much salary do you want, and what are the terms and conditions of moving forward. Because we eliminated ourselves. We have people come in, we have someone pre-screen the resumes. Then when someone pre-screens the resumes, we move them to different parts in our system, and each part sets up like a sequence of like automation. So to automatically email them saying you weren't hired, but hey, we have this, or it's bringing you on to the next stage. And it gets to the point where we never even sit down with an interview. We do just quick like 2, 3, 4, 5-minute phone calls max, just to get a feel for the person. If you like them, learn exactly what they're good at, then you sit down on the interview. But when you go on the face-to-face like Zoom call, like you already want to hire them. It's just the fine details that you have to go over.
Wow.
Because that's how much we've pre-screened them. Yeah.
Pre-screen, yeah. So now that allows us, when we hire someone, it's just a matter of do they fit in with our culture, like our team, like in our company. We know they can do the work.
Because we've automated the pre-screening process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk to us about those systems, man, because y'all have some crazy systems in place, like completely automated hiring, like just some crazy stuff. So like, how do you think about systems, creating systems, and like putting them in place in your business?
Yeah, so I mean, we use a lot of Zapier, a lot of ActiveCampaign. We've been using it for like over a year now, just even within our SMMA, and just getting used to those tools. And so we use those internally, but also for external use. And we use those simple tools to just see like what we can automate in our business.
And you said that right. It's just looking and thinking, what can we automate? Not everything works, or not everything's done like right the first time, but it's just thinking, if like I'm doing this more than once, there's got to be a way to like automate, maybe not the whole thing, but at least a part of it. And then the way to just execute on that is just actually do it and just try automating and creating those systems.
100%. So when you're bringing people onto your team, I'm assuming this isn't probably as big of an issue anymore, but like when you were just getting started, did you ever worry that like they're not going to care as much as you guys do, or they're not going to like do it as well as you guys would do it yourselves?
I never worried. At the beginning, I don't even know if I was like aware of that.
Yeah, I don't recall. No. I don't think so.
But what's crazy now is, it's just like, it wasn't like a thought.
It wasn't a thought. Yeah, it wasn't a thought.
But like now, because we constantly sit down with like each one of our team members, each one of our employees, just like see how they're doing, everything like that. And every time we've sat down with like the people, they've told us like they love what they're doing and they feel like they're actually participating and are a part of the company. So like our copywriter feels like he's playing his part just as much as like our customer support agents. That's literally like a tenth of the price.
That's wacky, man. That's really fascinating.
Yeah, and it's because we're hiring great people and doing everything possible to make sure that they love what they're doing. It's the great place.
And dude, you should see like how many.
Go
ahead.
So they like perform as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, and want to perform.
And want like people are eager. Like they want to work, like they show up to work 6 days a week and they'll stay in the office till like 8, 9, 10, 11 p.m. when they start at 9 a.m. even though we're not there.
Wow. How do you like inspire that in people? Like how do you bring that out of someone to get them that passionate about what they're doing?
So I think first of all you gotta set up the right environment for them. Okay.
Agreed.
And you have to basically make them feel as if like a chunk of this is theirs, which it is.
Because without them, and we let them know, like without you, like
you're
we would not have been able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And like Jovan talked about this yesterday, because we send out videos to our team to like always teach them to always improve them. He talked about every single person's role in the company is to generate revenue in some type of way. And as soon as we tell them that and we let them know, like even if you're doing customer support, you are generating revenue in some way, just as much as like our video editors, just as much as our copywriters, just as much as everyone.
So like getting that common purpose is big.
Yeah, common purpose. And dude, like taking like last week, we had like one kid work 76 hours last week, bro. 76 hours. And then like our like current like operating manager, he puts in 60 to 70 hours on a weekly basis. Same with our head of content, bro. They're working like 60, 70 hours a week. Not because we told them, yo, you got to work this much. We tell them because they want to. Like they just do it because they want to do that.
And it's because they feel like they're a part of this. It's not just like myself, Jovan, and Mr. Cashman who are like in charge and do the only decisions. Like we make them a part of the business. We get feedback from them. We get them to make decisions in the business.
Like they make more important decisions. They make more important decisions on a weekly basis than we do. But when we make a decision, we make like the big ones, but they're not as frequent. Like we literally like we give them that control.
Huh. That's something I think a lot of people are afraid to do, is like hand over that control to other people.
Well, and that's like they taking how much like our get shit done or like our assistant. Like we've literally showed like he's in our lives. Like he knows everything about us, and because of that, he's striving. Like he tells us like he'll do anything for us. Like we can call him a Sunday night at 11 p.m. and he'll be here as soon as like the taxi arrives at his house. Because he feels like he has the purpose, and that's the huge thing. Like you're like, people don't like, before we were like, oh, company culture, like we can worry about that later. Let's just make some money. Without that, like we would not be able to sustain the growth. Like you need your people, and you need your people to love what they do and feel like they're a part of your entire business, no matter what their position is.
Whether you pay them $2 an hour or $300 an hour, they need to feel like they're playing a part.
100%. So at this point, like you guys, I feel like there's a couple different like routes people can go when they go down the info product route. Like they could go like the Kevin David route, be like super lean. I mean, that dude's got like a ton of VAs, but I don't know if he has like 1 or 2 like salaried workers. And he has like pretty low overhead. I mean, he doesn't have an office. He like works out of his house. But then you guys have gone out sort of the other route with like getting these offices, having full-time staff. So what made you want to go down that route rather than something that was more lean and had less overhead?
Dude, I was literally we were talking about this the other day. I brought up the fact that, like taking like out of all the entrepreneurs like on YouTube, like we're in the small minority where like we decided like, let's just not be like the entrepreneur with 100,000 subscribers that makes like 30-40K a month. Let's be the entrepreneurs that like open up like a fucking company with 2 offices across the world and fucking scale to $100 million instead.
And that's possible with the team. You like, someone prove me wrong, but you cannot do that running a business out of your house with just like VA. It's not like sustainable. Yeah. And so back to so Kevin David, I am impressed at the fact that like he is a one-man show and he's like done it all with VAs. Like that is sick. Yeah. I just don't know like how far like he can take that, how long you can keep growing the way that he's growing. It's a sustained growth. Like, it's sustained. You can grow quick. And if we just kept it the 3 of us and got like 2-3 VAs a couple months ago, we'd still be making money, right? But we just wouldn't. Now we have the foundation that can take us past that like 10-20 mil mark. And that's also why like we looked at like the competition. We see Sam Ovens. Sam Ovens has got a fucking office. He's making 30 mil a year. Grant Cardone has an office. He's making hundreds of millions. Gary Vee has an office. Let's get a fucking office. like people don't believe it. Like when we say like we spend $250,000 at least a month on ads, right? Like our monthly employee cost currently it's $30,000 a month.
Really?
$1,000 a day we drop on our employees, and that's only going up. But like that's cool. Like I love that. Like I posted I went live today on Instagram, and I was like, I love the fact that like I'm spending like $1,000 on this person. Like in a week, I pay $7,000 out to our team every single Sunday, and I love that. And it's like that's no commissions either. Yeah, that's not even or commissions. Commissions like that's an extra $40,000 a month. You know, it's just crazy.
That's fascinating.
Spend money, build, and you can go like honestly to the moon. Like you can literally look at any successful businessman. There's no multi-million-dollar corporation that doesn't have a team. Yeah.
So is that the vision, like becoming a huge thing?
Yeah, dude. We're putting our efforts into this so we can step away. Everything like I'm trying to outsource myself. Jovan's like the same. So is Marley. I want to outsource everything. Like here's how I look at it. If I want to be a solo entrepreneur, I can be a solo entrepreneur at the age of like 50 or 60, right? Like I can't build a fucking multi-million-dollar corporation from scratch when I'm 50 or 60. I just don't think I'll be able to. So I'd rather do it now, and then maybe if I want to be a solo entrepreneur, I'll do that later. Yeah.
That's wild, man. That's wild. So like what's coming next for you guys? Like it seems like this project right now is scaling pretty rapidly. Are you guys going to introduce like other products, other services? Like what's next?
It's growing quick, but it's also very fragile at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, especially in this space. What? Especially like with how we're operating. Yeah, it's just the way it's set up, and that's just something that we'll fix with time. And I'm sure many other businesses are like this, but like right now it's just fragile. So we have, before we can like scale like super fast or start like a new business or like something like that, we just gotta like fix like this make sure like everything like is like this instead of just like this. You know? Yeah, like we're here. That's a good example. Like we're here, but I want to be in like everything locked. Meshes, but it doesn't lock. Yeah, that's the way to put it. Same place. So that's like the next focus is not like we tried. No one would give us a loan. Like we were just fighting on cash flow because PayPal's holding like $500,000 from us. So like we were supposed to have that cash available, which we don't. And no bank would give us a loan because our business was not over 2 years old, like some bullshit, right? Yeah. So what we did was we moved up another business, and then we generated, how much did we do? Probably like
25,000.
Yeah, 25,000 USD in like 2 weeks. Yeah. Just to generate like some cash for us, and that like to
generate cash for our other business.
For other business, yeah. And then we stopped that because even just diversifying just a little bit, we weren't able to go 100% into our current business. So let's do that. Let's get that to be able to run at $100 million a year. Then let's start working on something else.
Wow. Yeah, and I mean, like you guys are a prime example of like the opposite of what most people are doing. Like I talk to most other young people out there who shoot me a DM on Instagram and they're trying Shopify, they're trying Amazon, they're trying SMMA, they're trying like Facebook ads, they're trying like all these different things. But you guys are like the epitome of like focusing on one thing. Like you guys are taking this one thing to like the moon, which is super empowering, and I think is really beneficial for a lot of young people to hear that.
Yeah, and the best reason why is because, like, don't put all your effort and your time into a bunch of these little things, because you're always going to be dealing with, like, a bunch of little things, right? I'd rather put everything into this and then get to the point, like I said, where we can actually step away from this business, still produce, still pay us, and then let's worry about building the next one. Like, I want to build things. I don't just want to have little businesses.
Yeah.
Like, I want empires. Like, I want to operate. Like, I want to own the entire 8 floors of the building to house every single one of our employees.
Yeah.
Wild.
And dude, just to give another analogy for that, like imagine like you want to become like, so that's the thing, right? If you diversify your focus on, let's say, across 4 or 5 different businesses, right? Like Shopify, Amazon, SMMA, whatever, right? But you want to become a great entrepreneur, and your end goal is to make money, right? So if you were to become, let's say you wanted to become a professional basketball player, like what would you do? Every day you'd be in the gym shooting basketballs inside the hoop. Like that's what you would literally do every day if you want to become a great basketball player. So if you want to become a great entrepreneur, you have to do one thing. Like you have to get good at doing one thing, and then like once you get good at doing that, you'll learn another thing within that, and then that's how you'll figure out one business, and you can scale that way.
Mm. So, I mean, why was info products like the thing for you? Like, why did you decide to go with info products?
In short, like quick, simple answer is because we modeled other successful people, and we saw people were successful with info products. So let's be successful with info products too.
Who are some of the people? I know you mentioned like Sam Ovens a couple times, but like who are some of the people that you look up to?
It's like 3 people. Then we like who?
We said the other day.
It was we said Sam Ovens. Who's the other one?
So we said so look up to look up to we said Mr. Sam Ovens, and then Alex Becker.
Alex Becker, yeah. And then I've just something about Uncle G. Uncle G's got a spot in my heart. Grant Cardone, like especially like the way he like, because right now we're building our sales team. Like I'm gonna have a better sales team than Grant Cardone. And like this is documented on this podcast.
Yeah.
If we say we're gonna do something, it's gonna be done. So Grant Cardone, I will have a better sales team than you.
I love it, man. Sam Ovens and Alex Becker, those are 2 guys that I'm watching very closely right now as well. They're definitely like you guys seem like very much on the same wavelength as both of them in terms of like where your goals are and what you're focused on.
Yeah, it's the same wavelength, and that's why I really what's that word? I really like not attract, but what's the gravitate? I really gravitate towards what they're saying, because I see a lot of parallels with literally what they're trying to explain to all these thousands of people on YouTube that aren't understanding. Yeah. I've either experienced it or I'm experiencing it literally right now, which is why I know like 90% of the chance, like whatever they're saying, like it makes sense. Like it's there's a reason to listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, we've proven that so many times, because Sam Ovens, who's running like making $30 million a year, he'll explain like a problem. It's like that happened last week and we fixed it just like how Sam Ovens said. And I've just seen this video now.
Yeah.
And then that's why we gravitate towards them, because like what they say, like we know it's true, and like we've seen it time and time again. And like that's why we like hope people listen to us, because like when we say something, it's for a reason. It's not just to say like some bullshit.
100%. All right, y'all. Well, I've got a couple questions that I want to ask you guys before we wrap up the show. You feeling ready for those?
Get them.
All right, perfect. The first thing I'm curious about is, and I asked you guys this before, and you mentioned that you wanted to start your office, but I'm curious on what you guys are now excited about. I know a few months ago it was starting this first office, but like now, like what's on the radar?
Building a bigger office. That's mine. That's what I'm just looking forward to operating. Like I love when I go in the office, because like sometimes I'll spend an entire day in the office and I'll only spend like an hour on my laptop, because the rest is just dealing with problems, sitting down with people, trying to plan and fix stuff in our business, or moving here, watching this, motivating our sales team, helping them with this. Like I just love it, and like I just want to do that. Like I want to have like
you want to not have to look at your computer screen, basically.
Yeah, I just
at all
operate.
ever.
I just want to have this like office. That's what I'm. That's my dream. That's my ideal. That's what I want. What about you?
Yeah, no, same thing for sure.
That's what's up. Do y'all have any habits that have served you particularly well in your business or lifestyle? It sounds like a lot of that's outsourced at this point, but like what do you guys do on a routine basis?
You don't say no. or that's not possible.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like we're literally at the like. No matter
It's not
what
so much
anybody
habits. Sorry, one more thing. It's not so much habits. That's the thing. People always want to learn what the habits are and mimic the habits for success. It's really, I'm noticing, man, it's more so if I had to choose one thing, what weighs more, I'd say it's mindset weighs more than the habits. I'd say if it was, it might be close, but I'd say maybe 60% is mindset and then so your mind and then 40% is the execution.
I never thought about it percentage-wise, but I do agree with that. But it's more so like your mindset's the root, and if you don't have like roots, like what's the point of doing the habits? If you do these habits to make you successful, but you don't think properly, then like those habits are like literally a waste of time. Like you're just repeating a task and getting literally nothing out of it.
That's true.
So that's why you just got to change the way you think. And like our biggest way is that everyone tells us no. Like they told us we couldn't get the office. They told us we couldn't have 20 people. They told us like you can't make a.
You can't sign this lease or like anything you can think of, bro. People keep saying no.
Yeah, literally down to like a year ago when we met, they first told us no, you can't get this apartment. An hour later, Jovan was there with cash in his hand and signed the lease.
Literally.
And like because of that mindset, they tell us no, and I'm just like no, like
that's not true. Yes. That's not true.
Yeah,
you know.
Literally, how many times in the office? Especially Miroslav. I hope you're watching this, Miroslav. Miroslav, he's our operating officer. He literally tells me, no, that can't be done. I'm just Miroslav, get it done. He comes back like an hour later. He's like, it's done. Always the way. It's always.
Yeah, too many people are saying no. I totally agree with that. And like the mindset is a must because you can do these behaviors, you can mimic what you see other successful people doing, but if you don't understand the why, if you don't understand like what that's actually doing for you and how that's moving you closer to where you want to be, it's not gonna do anything for you. Like you're literally just like going through the motion.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So where can our listeners, if they've been enjoying the massive amounts of wisdom, value, everything that y'all have been spitting on this episode today, where can they go to find out more about what y'all are up to and Choose Pristine?
So first thing you can do is go on YouTube, search up Choose Pristine. You'll find us there. Also, you can hit up our IGs. Mine is Jovan Stojanovic with an underscore. This is Quenten Chad with an underscore. And those are basically the main platforms that you can catch us on.
The best place to contact us.
Yeah.
Awesome. Y'all, I just want to say that I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time and choosing to spend it here on Young Smart Money. Do you have any last closing thoughts, words of wisdom, or anything you want to wrap the show up here with today?
Yeah, all the young hustlers listening, like just change the way you think, and what you can do is literally limitless. And I know that sounds cliche and stuff, but just literally, just anytime someone tells you no, just turn that no into a yes, and you will go so far.
And listen to us, Sam Ovens and Alex Becker.
Yeah.
There you go. That's all you need.
And I just want to say, man, thank you once again, man, for having us back here. It's really.
I feel honored.
Again, yeah, bro. I do feel honored, man. I appreciate that, man. It's always great talking to you.
Absolutely, man. We'll have to link up the next time y'all are nearby. I know y'all are floating all over the place these days, but next time y'all are in the States or at an event or something, let me know and we'll link up.
We'll see you at FHL when we get the 2CCX.
There we go. Making moves. All right. Well, I look forward to it, guys. It's been a pleasure.
All right, man. Thanks, brother. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Young Smart Money. If you want to support the show, you can do so in 3 different ways. You can subscribe, you can leave me 5, and you can share this episode with a friend. To subscribe, all you got to do is click the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts. To leave me 5, all you got to do is scroll all the way down to the bottom of the podcast's page for Young Smart Money and click on the write a review button. And to share with a friend, all you got to do is screenshot yourself listening to this episode, post on your Instagram story, tag me, and I will be sure to repost it in my Instagram story as well. I love giving you guys some attention who are listening to the show. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Real quick, just launched a new project called the Online Course Examiner, basically the Yelp of online courses. It is blowing up lately, onlinecourseexaminer.com. Check it out.